Okay.
Quilla, can you at least fight back?
No.
At least something. At least fight back, something.
Get up, bro. Get up. I'm tired of shit.
To this now, it has been more than 2.5 years since 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died while vacationing with friends in Cabo, Mexico, and her family says that they're still fighting for answers.
Today, a federal judge heard arguments in a lawsuit Shanquella's mother filed against the FBI.
What if you trusted your closest friend, packed your bags, and flew to paradise, and that was the last thing you ever did? That is exactly what happened to Shanquella Robinson. And the more you dig into this case, the more your stomach turns, because this was not a stranger. This was not a random attack. The people who watched her die, the people who held her down, the people who looked her mother in the eyes at her funeral, those were her friends. Or at least, that is what she believed. Before we go any further, if you're new here, welcome to Shadow Crime. Hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss a story like this one. Because we do not shy away from the truth here. We chase it. Now, let me tell you about Shanquella Robinson. And I mean really tell you about her. Because she deserves more than just a headline. Shanquella was born on January 9th, 1997, in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was a 25-year-old businesswoman, a hairstylist, a fashion entrepreneur, and a social media personality with a growing brand. She had founded her own women's clothing line and was building something real for herself. By all accounts, she was the kind of person who lit up a room. Her mother, Salamandra Robinson, described her as full of life. Her family adored her. She was ambitious, she was young, and she had everything ahead of her. In October 2022, Shanquella was invited on a group trip to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. The trip was framed as a birthday celebration for one of the women in the group, Dejani Jackson. There were 6 people going with her: Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winna Donovan, Alice Hyatt, Dejani Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. They would later become known as the Cabo Six. Now here's what you need to understand about Khalil Cook specifically, because this part matters. Khalil was not just some guy she knew from school. He was her best friend. They had been close for nearly 5 years. He went on family vacations with her family. Her family trusted him like one of their own. So when Shanquella got on that plane, she was not going with strangers. She was going with people she felt safe with, people she had laughed with, eaten with, celebrated with. She had no idea she was walking into something she would not walk out of. On October 28th, 2022, the group arrived at a luxury rental villa in Puerto Los Cabos. By all appearances, it was the kind of trip you post on Instagram. Beautiful location, beautiful people, a celebration. But behind the scenes, something was already very wrong.
To this now, it has been more than 2.5 years since 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died while vacationing with friends in Cabo, Mexico, and her family says that they're still fighting for answers.
Today, a federal judge heard arguments in a lawsuit Shanquella's mother filed against the FBI, the State Department, and the people who were on the trip.
WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre was in the courtroom today, joining us now from Uptown Live. So, Jesse, what's the latest in this case?
Well, every side was heard in this case today, and every party named in this lawsuit is asking the judge to dismiss this case. And attorneys for some of Shanquella Robinson's travel companions are asking that if the case be heard, that it be heard in Mexico.
United States citizen should not be allowed to go overseas, harm another, or be involved in harm with another United States citizen and come back to the United States and essentially say that they're on base, that they're not going to be held liable, accountable, or responsible.
Shanquella Robinson died in Mexico in 2022. At first, friends told her family it was alcohol poisoning, but then a video surfaced showing Shanquella being violently beaten on the trip. Now her mother is suing the FBI, the U.S. Department of State, and the 6 people who were on the trip. Attorneys for the travel mates want the lawsuit thrown out, but argue if it is heard, Mexico is the proper place to handle the case because that's where the incident happened, where the key evidence is, and where 24 other witnesses are, like the medical professionals and the law enforcement who handled the case. But Sue Ann Robinson, who represents Shanquella's estate, strongly disagrees, saying the conspiracy and cover-up into Shanquella's death happened here in the U.S.
the convenient forum would be the forum in which all 6 of the individuals who were present in the room when the crime occurred, for them to be heard and give their testimony and have their day in court here.
She also raised concerns about a trial in Mexico with a language barrier and navigating the justice system there.
The Mexican civil litigation system is completely different. There's no jurors.
Attorneys for the travel maids declined to say much outside of the courtroom.
We have no comment at this time.
No comment.
Meanwhile, Shanquella Robinson's father, who was in the courtroom, says he is not giving up.
Only thing I can do is stand for Shanquella and talk. Be her mouth, be her voice, because she didn't deserve this at all.
So what's next? Well, the judge heard all of the arguments in this case, but has not made a final decision yet. So we'll be watching out for that final ruling. Live in Uptown, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
All right. Thank you for keeping us posted, Jesse.
Now think about this for a second. You are in a foreign country. You are at a beautiful villa. You are surrounded by people you thought you knew. And somewhere between the first day and the next morning, the mood shifts. Something feels off. But you brush it off because these are your people, right? You trust them. Videos surfaced later showing Shanquella the day before everything fell apart. She was laughing, teasing her friend for taking too long to get ready, just being herself. But if you watch those videos carefully, and people online did, you can see something in the energy of the group around her, a coldness, an irritation, like they were barely tolerating her presence, like she was not supposed to be having a good time. And that detail alone should make your skin crawl, because what we now know is that while Shanquella slept, some of those people were on camera mocking her, making fun of her, building up some kind of resentment that none of them have ever fully explained. When she woke up and realized what was happening, she tried to address it. She tried to stand up for herself. And that is when things turned violent. A video began circulating on social media not long after her death that showed a young black woman, naked, disoriented, and defenseless, being brutally beaten by one of the women in the group inside one of the villa bedrooms. The woman doing the beating is throwing punch after punch while Shanquella, barely able to stand, stumbles and tries to protect herself. And throughout all of this, you can hear a male voice in the background, not calling for help, not stepping in, just saying, "At least fight back, Shanquella. Fight back," or something. That voice belonged to Khalil Cook, her best friend of 5 years. Let that sit with you for a moment. He did not pull the attacker off her. He did not call for help. He stood there and taunted her while she was being beaten. The person she trusted the most in that villa, the person her family trusted, watched it happen and did nothing. Now, after the beating, Shanquella was clearly in serious distress. The group eventually called a local doctor to the villa, but here is where the deception kicks in hard. They told that doctor she had been drinking too much. They pushed the alcohol poisoning story from the very beginning. Even the medical personnel, who were standing right there trying to figure out what was wrong with her. The doctor reportedly spent hours at that villa and kept urging the group to call an ambulance. They refused. They kept stalling. And by the time paramedics arrived, it was already too late. Shanquella Robinson was declared dead at 5:57 in the evening on October 29th, 2022. She was 25 years old.
Today marks 3 years since the death of Shanquella Robinson, the Charlotte woman who died while vacationing in Mexico with friends.
Yeah, and the question surrounding her death has sparked both heartbreak and outrage across the country. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is in Uptown with how loved ones are remembering Shanquella and the renewed call for justice.
A somber tribute marking 3 years since the death of Shanquella Robinson.
I want everybody to remember Shanquella as a vibrant 25-year-old entrepreneur.
Shanquella traveled to Cabo, Mexico in October of 2022 with 6 friends. She never made it back home. Her travel mates told her family she died of alcohol poisoning, but videos showing Shanquella being attacked on the trip painted a different picture.
It's just a clear sign of an innocent young lady who was attacked and her life was taken from her. The whole world saw that.
An autopsy done in Mexico revealed Shanquella died with a broken neck and severed spinal cord. Mexican authorities then filed charges on who they named as the direct aggressor in Shanquella's death. But here in the U.S., the FBI did not find sufficient evidence to move forward with the case.
This father right here is lost because I don't know why y'all did what y'all did.
Shanquella's mother has since filed a $100 million lawsuit against federal agencies. She also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the 6 who were there, now known as the Cabo 6. In response, they have filed motions asking the judge to dismiss the case. For Shanquella's father, who we spoke with over the phone, he says the anguish is unbearable.
She wasn't perfect, but she did not deserve for them 6 individuals to take her life and come back here and lie about it, and nothing not being done about it.
He is pleading for federal authorities to take a closer look.
But I can be her voice, and that's all I'm asking for is the United States of America to step in and look at this case and make it right. Just make it right to this father.
Attorneys Ben Crump and Sue Ann Robinson issued a statement saying it is not only heartbreaking, but unacceptable that 3 years later, no criminal charges have been brought, urging the FBI to release information on the case and bring Shanquella's family the closure they deserve. Family and supporters say they won't stop fighting until Shanquella gets justice.
A young lady lost her life that shouldn't have lost her life. Justice for me would be to see all those that were responsible to be held accountable.
Jessie Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
Now here's where the story goes from heartbreaking to absolutely infuriating, because dying in a foreign country is one thing. But what these 6 people did after Shanquella took her last breath is something that will stay with you long after this video ends. They packed their bags. They ended the trip early. They used her credit cards to buy their plane tickets home. And they left her body in that villa for a maid to find. Let me say that again. They left her body on the floor of that villa and flew home. And then, and this is the part that gets me every single time, they showed up at her family's house. They walked through that door with her luggage. They sat with her mother. They comforted her parents. They helped pick out clothes for her funeral. And the whole time, every single one of them was lying straight to that family's face. The story they told was simple. Shanquella had been drinking heavily. She got sick. It was a tragic accident. Nobody could have seen it coming. And because her family was in shock, because they were grieving, because the one person they trusted most, Khalil, was sitting right there holding their hands, they believed it. Shanquella's sister Tequila Long said it best. She said, "I was believing the dude that she went on the trip with because that was her best friend. I didn't think that he would be malicious about anything. I trusted him." And that right there is one of the most painful sentences in this entire case. But here's where the story takes a turn. Before the Cabo 6 even landed back in Charlotte, someone called Shanquella's mother and told her that the group had been fighting Shanquella in Mexico. Her mother did not know what to make of it at first. Was it true? Was someone stirring up drama? She was not sure. But then a friend sent her the video, and everything changed. The video spread across Facebook and social media like wildfire. People were horrified. The comments, the shares, the outrage. It was immediate and it was global. Millions of people watched that footage and demanded answers. And suddenly the alcohol poisoning story that the Cabo 6 had so carefully constructed began falling apart in real time. Then the death certificate arrived from Mexico. And what it said stopped everyone cold. The official cause of death listed by Mexican authorities was not alcohol poisoning. It was severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, meaning her neck had been broken. The document classified her death as accidental or violent, and noted that only 15 minutes passed between the injury and her death. 15 minutes. She suffered a broken neck and was gone in 15 minutes, while the people around her did nothing. But wait, because here is where the twist gets even deeper. When a second autopsy was performed back in Charlotte, the medical examiner found something that directly contradicted the Mexican death certificate. Shanquella's spine was intact. It had not been broken, which means the two official findings about how she died do not match. And to this day, nobody has been able to fully reconcile that contradiction. So now you have a viral video showing a brutal beating. You have two conflicting autopsy results. You have 6 people who lied to her family, lied to the doctor, and lied to authorities. And you have a 25-year-old woman who went on vacation with her friends and never came home. So here's where we are right now. It is 2025. Nearly 3 years have passed since Shanquella Robinson took her last breath in that villa in Cabo San Lucas. 3 years. And not one person has been arrested. Not one person has sat in a courtroom and faced a judge for what happened to her. Let that sink in. The FBI investigated and ultimately announced it would not pursue federal charges, citing insufficient evidence for federal prosecution. Mexican authorities issued an arrest warrant for one of the Cabos 6 back in 2023. But here's the jaw-dropping part. The U.S. State Department reportedly never forwarded that warrant to the International Affairs Office. It just sat there, going nowhere, while the people responsible walked free on American soil. In February 2025, the FBI released a heavily redacted version of its initial findings. The report revealed that someone in the group claimed Shanquella hit her head on a toilet. It also revealed that someone in the villa knew there were cameras in the house and actively tried to obtain that footage. And it confirmed that someone described Shanquella's body as looking like she had been stomped on. Then in April 2025, civil rights attorney Ben Crump stepped in and filed a new $100 million lawsuit on behalf of Shanquella's family. His involvement sent a clear message that this family is not going away quietly. They are not letting this die. But perhaps the most telling sign of guilt in this entire case is what Johnny Jackson did after the lawsuit was filed. She changed her name. She is now going by Imani Green. And when process servers tried to locate her to deliver legal documents, she was nowhere to be found. Private investigators surveilled her home in Hartford, Connecticut. They spotted her car. They never saw her come or go. She was hiding. A federal judge later heard arguments in May 2025 about whether the civil case should even be tried in the United States or sent to Mexico, and no ruling has been made yet. In June 2025, a federal judge dismissed the claims against the FBI and the State Department. But the wrongful death lawsuit against the Cabo 6 is still very much alive, and Shanquella's mother Salamandra is still fighting every single day for her daughter. Now I want to ask you something directly. And I really want you to think about this. How many people in that villa knew what was going to happen before it happened? Because the premeditation signs were there. The coldness before the attack. The coordination of the story afterward. The credit cards. The luggage. The name change. Innocent people do not behave this way. And here is the second question that haunts me. What does it say about us as a society when a young black woman is beaten to death on camera? The footage goes viral across the entire world, and 3 years later nobody has gone to jail. What does it say about the systems that were supposed to protect her? What does it say about loyalty, about friendship, about who we choose to trust with our lives? Shanquella Robinson deserved better. She deserved to come home. She deserved justice. And the fact that she has not received it yet does not mean the fight is over. It means we have to keep talking about her. We have to keep saying her name. Because silence is exactly what the Cabo 6 are counting on. So do not give them that. If this story moved you, if it made you angry, if it made you want to do something, start by sharing this video. Drop her name in the comments. Let the algorithm know that people still care about Shanquella Robinson. Hit that like button, subscribe to Shadow Crime, and click the bell icon so you're notified every time we cover a story that the world needs to hear. Because cases like this one do not get solved by silence. They get solved by people like you refusing to look away. Justice for Shanquella. We are not done yet.